Howdy, folks. Brian Cusco here at Redline Report, and today we're going to sit down with Johnny Venom and hear about his journey of becoming a content creator. Don't forget that Redline Report is brought to you by Redline Shipping. Link down in the description for you to use this service. Yeah, let's get into it. You're watching Redline Report.
Yeah, as you know, I'm like still trying to figure out my equipment stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much equipment that you can use, and like it's a whole other side gig apart from creating content, you know. But we've been talking about you come and sit down here for like a while now, right?
2 years.
Yeah.
I think the last time was 2 Tinleys ago or something. Like
Okay.
last March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was sitting right here and
Yeah.
doing it. So how did you get into creating content? Like what is your journey from where you started with reptiles to where you're at now?
So originally, first we'll start off with the fact that I ride BMX, and I would always travel around doing demos, doing shows at different states, different countries, and I would always be the one just like off the grid while everyone's like setting up and like they're having their fun in the bars. I'll be flipping rocks, going through the woods.
Sorry.
You hit me with it.
Sorry.
I'm suing you.
That's fine.
But no, I was like always finding something to bring critters to them, and they always knew I was the one for the animals. So what they would do is they would,
In the BMX world.
yeah,
Okay.
they would bring me an animal too when we were like building trails. They'd be like, "Hey, what is this? Is this poisonous?" I'm like, "No, it's venomous, but that's it." But like timber rattlesnakes and copperheads would be common in our areas in Pennsylvania. And then from there, I had the opportunity with my friend Isaac. He does wildlife animal removal in Florida. And he wanted me to come down to Florida and prospect possibly to be working there down there for him. So he set up this extravagant plan for me to stay a week in Florida. He just handed me the keys to his truck, gave me Google points, said go to these places, enjoy. I have a couple select people like lined up for you to meet. He goes, make your experience better. And from there, I met Rob Kesey of Get Swamped, David Weathers of Jackass, and Wild Boys. And I would be filming the whole entire time, filming it behind the camera. And Robbie looked at me and David both looked at me, same thing with Isaac, and they said, if I looked like you, I'd be in front of the camera. I go, oh man, I ain't gonna do this, no. So Robbie goes, I'll make a deal with you. You post this much, this many times, and if you get to 10K followers, you continue with it. So I did what Robbie said, put myself in front of the camera, posted as many times as he said. I went from 2,000 people all the way up to 20,000. And then Robbie was like, continue. So then I went from the 20,000, fast forward a year, I'm at 200 and some thousand. And then fast forward another year, I was putting off pretty bad. I decided to launch my first long form content, as you know, like 2 days ago. So that's where I'm at.
How's the long form going? It's been 2 days. But
So it's been 2 days, but like it's got 400 views in 2 days, which I don't expect like crazy thousands instantly. I'm up to 2,000 subs, and it's a different world per se compared to the short form. Short form, I can film like 5-10 minutes of content and then scramble 30 seconds off it and use multiple clips of that. Now I'm taking 2 hours of content and then mashing it together to make it streamlined, and it's a completely different monster. I don't even know how you do it.
lots of practice, and I'm still working on it. You know, it's a journey. It depends on the story you want to tell, and like how you go about doing that is really up to you, I guess. But
Yeah. And I made a different approach with it because I made myself kind of vulnerable to people. So I showed them the awkward ADHD hyper person I am, like, you know, I am. Like, sometimes I can be a handful walking up to people.
I mean, you're a really nice guy, so that helps. Like you're very. You might have ADHD. You might have asked me like 100 million questions like in 30 seconds one time. but overall, I mean, from my experience with you that I've had, like you're pretty considerate,
Yeah.
and you seem to really care about people. You know.
Yep, I put people forward first before me a lot of times, and people yell at me for it. But it's one of the things is I want fans to be able to walk up and approach me because it's intimidating enough for a lot of people. They think I'm a normal sized person on camera, and then when I go next to somebody that's not like actual normal size, they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize he was actually that tall." So I've had a lot of people walk up to me like, "I didn't realize." Like it proportions.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, how did you even have you been interested in animals since you were a kid, or like?
Yes, I was, because it's one of the things that calms my ADHD. It's something I can focus on. So a lot of things I focus on. I do a lot of other hobbies too. I do RC cars, and then I also rip engines apart and rebuild them because it forces me to engage myself into being concentrated.
And how about the short form content? What was the platform that you really launched on?
Instagram.
Yeah.
And it seems that everyone's trying to figure out how to launch on Instagram and grow. It was crazy for me when I first walked into the world with YouTubers. I had YouTubers asking me how I grew on Instagram. Like, and these are people with like millions of followers on YouTube, and they have 2,000 people on Instagram. And I explained to them the process on how it works. It's kind of the same process as YouTube, but it's just a different monster of like smaller clips. So your engagement and your attention span for them has to be instant, as opposed to YouTube. You have to hook the person, interest them, show them a little bit, hook them, interest them, and try to hook them through the whole entire like content. And I still don't know what the magic number for long form content is, because you got Clint's Reptiles, who has 2-hour rants and people watch it, and then you have somebody who has 5-minute videos that do very well.
I think as long as you have a good story from beginning to end, that's what it is. Whatever that story, not I say story. I'm not like telling story time. Just like whatever like Clint has very informational stuff, but he also has a good personality. Just whatever makes it click. I think where people want to watch it and they're getting education from it and they're being entertained at the same time. And if it looks
That
okay,
makes sense.
yeah. So what is your thought process like if you're gonna film your short? I mean, is that so when you do shorts that you just Sorry, I know you only do shorts, but what is your thought process when you're gonna like hit record on your camera or on your phone? Like, what is your thought process? Like, oh, here's what I'm gonna do, and what from the start to like the end result.
So one of my things that I like to do is most people don't find the ability to use their voice to be empathetic. So I'll take this big scary creature, say per se centipedes. Like I'm known for the centipedes, the ogre-faced spider, and I can make somebody who is basically deathly afraid of a centipede feel compassion for them. And it's one of my things I try to do. I try to make the animal less scary, more relatable to a person. Like per se, the centipede video, I did a zoom in on it, zoomed out of it, and she was sitting there rearing her young. And then I explained to people it's the ultimate sacrifice being a centipede mom, because they participate in matrophagy. Matrophagy is when the animal shuts down its organs, slowly degrades itself, and the children become the first, like she becomes the first meal for the children. So she sacrificed her life so her kids can live. So then that gives a human a standpoint to be empathetic for the animal.
I remember the first time I learned that, I was like, wow, that is. I mean, can you imagine if we did that? Like,
I don't think my mom would do that for me. There's no questions asked on that one.
So really, it's finding a space for people that might see an animal and be like, that thing's disgusting or creepy, and educate them to a point where they're like, oh, well, that's amazing that this animal does
Correct,
that.
because human nature is to be tactile. So if I showed you a picture of an animal, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. Then if I went to you and I took that animal and I let you touch it, feel it, see how it works, see how they work, or how they interact with things, and then not just like a killing machine or a biting machine, then you become empathetic. Then that turns in human nature, like they'll see on the news, like, oh, this animal's gonna go extinct. But like, I remember stuff about that, I wanna save it. But if you show them just a picture of it, they're like, man, I'm not gonna save it. So you give them a reason to enjoy the animal.
That's good, man. I like that. I love that thought process. I had no idea what you were going to answer, but I love that answer. I'm curious how, because we actually had a lot of fun at the reptile rampage at
Oh,
Clint's, and being on the same team, running around
Oh,
and
yeah.
having a blast. How did you get on Clint's radar for that?
I don't know how I got on Clint's radar, because a lot of people tell me they like the way I present myself and my personality. But it also might be the fact I threw Clint like a child and taught him how to backflip. So that might be one of the things.
I think that was probably it. Knowing Clint as well as do at this point, yeah. If you got him into a backflip for his first time, yeah, that would probably left
Were
an
you at that
impression.
Animal Con?
I might have been there. Yeah, I think I was there,
Yeah.
but I didn't witness you make Clint backflip.
Like, I literally walked up to him. I said, "Do you want to?" He looked at me. He's like, "Can I backflip?" I'm like, "Do you want me to do it to you?" He goes, "Yes." And then everyone was like, "No, you're not." And then so Tyler Nolan, Will Nace, all of them. everyone then gathered around and moved where they were at to watch me throw Clint to do a backflip. So Clint
This is
went
on
up,
the ground?
no, in a pool.
Into the pool,
So it
okay.
was like 3 foot of water, me waist deep. Clint literally arms on top of my shoulder, me ready, jumping up and down to throw him by his feet. And Clint then went up to his room, comes back really happily in his swim shorts, and everyone started going, oh, it's really going to happen. So then I think there's like 8 different videos of me throwing him, even one in slow motion.
I don't know how I didn't see this.
But so I threw him. He did the first one really well, and within like 4 tries, he was doing a backflip. And then he was sending me videos of him backflipping off of ledges.
That's crazy. I didn't see him do a single backflip in Hawaii, but yeah, I don't know.
You took Clint to Hawaii?
He took me to Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of, and it's kind of. He instigated the trip. Yeah, we just came back from there actually last week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys film?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. We're just filming like animals and stuff. We didn't do. I put out a video last weekend. That's up there.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Johnny, anything you want to share with people that you haven't shared already? We do kind of short interviews here. It's like 10, 15
Yeah,
minutes.
that's fine. Anything I share? The fact that I launched long form content 2 days ago on my birthday. I did my first video.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And I wanted it to be a fun, happy video, but it kind of is and kind of isn't. My beaded lizard had this chronic regurg, and I've been battling trying to figure out how to stop it from doing it. Every fecal sample, even ultrasounds, everything came back clean. It just literally would eat its meal and vomit it up. So I've been trying different strategies on how to get it to do it, and that video explains it.
Okay.
So there's some light at the end of the tunnel with it.
Did you get it figured out?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It's in the video.
Okay, sweet.
Yep. That's it.
That's it?
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, you, bro. Thanks for coming sit down.
That was horrible. There we go. Redemption.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad we finally made it happen after 2 years.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. And maybe we'll collab with a video.
Yeah, I'll put a link down for that your long form piece in that thing. Thank you guys for watching. Do me a favor, go down, check in the link in the description for Johnny's first piece of long form content. You can check that out. Thanks, Johnny, for coming on. And of course, next week you'll see us right back here with another awesome piece of content here on Redline Report. Y'all take care.